64 wins. It was their greatest season in franchise history. Just coming off an appearance in the NBA Finals where it looked like they had it in the bag, until they didn't. Then it happened again. After winning the first 2 games against the Mavs, along with sweeping the season series 3-0, everyone thought the Suns had their number. That, combined with being the 1 seed, they were heavily favored to win the series. It was assumed the Mavs met their match, and while a comeback is possible, it's not likely. According to the numbers from landofbasketball.com, throughout NBA history, over 400 playoff series had at some point a 2-0 lead. But only 32 times did a team win a series after being down 0-2, which means this comeback only happens about 7% of the time. That's quite rare, actually. Funny enough, Chris Paul currently holds the record for most blown 2-0 leads of any individual player, with 5. Now, there's a lot of questions with this team. We have a lot to talk about in this video. From the Suns' disaster of a playoff run to what's in store for the future. It's a bit uncertain right now. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and without further ado, let's begin. So, this might be an easy question to ask, but a hard one to figure out. Obviously, we know this team won 64 games, by far the best record in the league this year, so it's not like they're a bad team. We know this team has basically the same roster that made the finals the year prior, so it's not like they can't succeed in the postseason. They've proven they can. Or did they? Let's rewind a bit back to the 2021 playoffs. One crucial thing to realize is that basically every team they defeated in the playoffs were missing a star or superstar. The Lakers in the first round had a crippled Anthony Davis. They were up 2-1 until Davis injured his groin. The series after that, they swept the Nuggets, but they were without Jamal Murray. Against the Clippers, they were missing Kawhi. Now, it was an impressive run to the finals nonetheless, but you have to wonder, did they look better than they actually were? Would they have gotten there if they actually faced any healthy team? They faced so many teams that were missing their best or second best player. In the finals, they had absolutely no answer for Giannis. The dude averaged like 35 and 13, shot an absurd percentage, and had one of the greatest finals performances of all time. The Suns had no answer for him. It was the same way against Luka and the Mavs. Heck, even against Brandon Ingram, he popped off. This leads to the bigger issue, defense. In the playoffs, they had the 5th worst defensive rating among all 16 teams. Considering they were 3rd in the entire NBA during the regular season, that's a significant drop-off. They were even worse defensively than the Hawks. It looks even worse when you see that the 2 teams they faced, the Pelicans and Mavs, they only had the 19th and 15th best offensive rating in the regular season. While they were good teams, neither of them were elite offensive teams, yet they had a field day against the Suns. Both the Mavs and Pelicans utilized a similar strategy of attacking their bigs. While Deandre Ayton is a good defender in the paint, he's too slow to keep up with most guards. He's also kinda lazy at times when closing out, especially against the Mavs. While the Mavs' bigs and wings aren't much of a threat besides shooting, their guards are very quick and very skilled. And they abused the Suns' defense. They also routinely attacked Chris Paul. In years past, Paul had always been known to be a great defender, but he's getting older now, in his late 30s. Any 6-foot-tall point guard in his late 30s, they're gonna get abused. The Mavs coaching staff realized that, so they attacked him. They wore him down, to the point where he couldn't perform on offense either. An article by John Voida described how the Mavs picked them apart. Once the Mavs established that they were going to attack the 5 and pull them away from the paint, the rest of the perimeter defense was compromised. In an effort to fill the space, the wings began collapsing on anyone who drove to the paint, leaving white-hot shooters open to tickle the twine. Devin Booker defensively regressed to a guy who was probing the weak side too much. It's not like his seeping into the paint had any chance of working. He found himself abandoning his defender and offering little assistance on defense as Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic penetrated the paint. The Mavericks recognized this and used it to their advantage. People have said that Booker's defense has improved in recent years, but in reality, it didn't look like it. I mentioned this after the Suns lost the finals a year ago. I said that it might have been Chris Paul's last chance to win a championship. I didn't expect the Suns to absolutely dominate and have a regular season as great as this one. However, I'm gonna say it again, this time I really do think it was Paul's last chance. After a fantastic series against the Pelicans, he had a brutal series against the Mavs. Actually, it became a meme that once he hit age 37, he fell off a cliff. In his first 2 games against the Mavs, he was good, but right on his birthday and the 5 games following it, Paul had the worst stretch of playoff games in his entire NBA career. Just 9 points a game with nearly 4 turnovers a game. Very uncharacteristic of him. The thing is, he barely took any shots to begin with. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Would you rather see Paul at least attempt and try to be aggressive and will his team to victory, even if he forces up bad shots? Or do you want to see him take just 7 shots a game like he did, and be a complete non-factor? Personally, I want to see Paul try to take over, instead of playing it safe like he usually does. Of course, credit goes to the Mavs defense as well. They routinely trapped him, forced him into uncomfortable spots, and intercepted his passing lanes quite well. Paul got smothered whenever he got to his favorite mid-range spots. And instead of forcing it, he does what he usually does, he passes it out. Even if it is the right play, sometimes you want to see him will his team to victory, to tap into whatever is left in the tank, like he used to do. It may very well look like Paul is done for, but I wouldn't count him out just yet. Remember a few years back? In his final season with the Rockets, Paul had one of the worst seasons of his career, and everyone assumed age has finally caught up. But then, after arriving in OKC, he had a bounce-back season, rejecting all the doubters. Who says he can't do it again? An interesting development for the Suns this season has been Deandre Ayton's contract situation. After the Suns' appearance in the finals, Ayton and his representative sought a maximum-level rookie extension, a contract that would have been worth 5 years, $170 million. However, when they brought this contract to the table, the Suns were hesitant to offer him that. As a result, they did not reach an agreement before the October deadline. So Ayton will be a restricted free agent in the summer of 2022. Some other team will offer him a max contract, but the Suns still have the option to match it. It's gotta hurt him a little bit though. He saw his peers from his draft class, Luka and Trey, get offered a max-level extension and they quickly signed it. But Ayton? He wasn't even offered it. It must be awkward to realize that the Suns are not even sure they want to keep him. Now, this storyline was put in the back seat for a while because the Suns were dominating for most of the season. But it got brought up again recently after they lost. During the Suns' blowout loss in Game 7, Ayton got benched early in the third quarter and sat out for the rest of the game. Apparently, after a possession, Coach Monty was furious that he didn't make any attempt to close out on Jalen Brunson. This was the play he was talking about. Brunson hit a wide-open 3. According to somebody who sat next to the Suns bench, the two of them had a verbal confrontation and started yelling at each other. The other coaches needed to separate them. A day after the Game 7 beatdown, Woj reported this: DeAndre Ayton did not feel valued by this Phoenix organization. He is going to get a max contract in the marketplace somewhere. There are a lot of teams lining up to figure out how can we acquire him. Ooh, it's about to get spicy. I honestly can't see the Suns not matching any offer Ayton gets, but if he really does not want to be there and he pulls a Ben Simmons or something, there's gonna be some drama. There's also the case of Devin Booker. We all know how talented of a scorer he is, but he kinda struggled against Dallas, or against most elite defensive teams. What separates Booker from other superstars like Doncic or Giannis is that when Booker is not scoring, he literally does not provide anything else. Defensively, he's a liability, and on offense, he's just standing around if he doesn't have the ball. Even as his scoring has become more efficient over the years, Booker does not elevate his teammates in the way that Luka or Giannis can. At least he's still young, he has many more years to improve. Anyway, that's all folks. The Phoenix Suns saw their dominant regular season end in a disastrous Game 7. and the future is now uncertain. Can Chris Paul bounce back? Will DeAndre Ayton even be here? And can Devin Booker take the next step? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.